why he has gone ahead to be tipped, why Calafiori is going to be tipped as Arsenal's fantastic signing of the season. And the title reads, Riccardo Calafiori expected all tipped to be Arsenal's fantastic signing, by people who have gone ahead to watch him hugely, and those that have gone ahead to obviously see to it that the guy is really good, and those that we went ahead to notice about his availability when the Euros had gone ahead to start. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are, and let's continue to do the needful and obviously take everything to where it deserves to be. And guys, I scheduled this video way back, but I've gone ahead to obviously show up late, but I'm sorry, but never say never. I'll never forsake you, and I'm finally here to obviously present this video to you, the viewers of this channel, and I love you die. But remember, we are powered by Muno Gadgets. If at all you are really watching us for the very first time, Muno Gadgets are dealers in new phones and new laptops, and they also deal in what we call they're dealers in used phones from UK and used laptops. So if at all you really want to get something that is already used and it's really good and in a good working condition, call +256 70 99 88 65. That's Muno Gadgets for you. They'll be at your service every time you need them into the mix. And here we come in peace to talk about Riccardo Calafiori. We are going to be talking Chiesa, Federico, then Tommy Setford, the goalkeeper of Arsenal, has gone ahead obviously put out something on his Instagram after signing for Arsenal. Then Ederson is here into the mix to see how things are really gonna go on as follows. So those are the stories that we've gone ahead obviously gather. Maybe Raphael Varane might obviously come in through and really see what we have to say. I'm here for 30 minutes and then we'll prepare to come back and see what has gone ahead to happen on the deal of Riccardo Calafiori that Fabrizio Romano has gone ahead obviously tell us. I'm gonna be really bringing you this story huge and better, and you people are not gonna regret, because this gonna be worth the wait. Riccardo Calafiori aura in the game of football is really something else that you guys need to be knowing about and really be told about into the mix. Now, I'm having two players that you all know very well, and when you talk about defending, you can obviously trust them because these are positions where they played into their best career. I'm having Bonucci. You know him very well. He played for Juventus. He has come out and really explained to us as it's a very big loss for Italian Serie A losing Riccardo Calafiori. And Bakari Sagna, the former player at Arsenal, you know him very well, he used to play as right back for Arsenal, has also come up and really put in a very big shift about the deal of Riccardo Calafiori. And that's why we're here to obviously tell you exactly what this is all about. And thank you for watching in through, right? Let's start it off with this story coming in through from Bakari Sagna, talking about Riccardo Calafiori as it matches with what you're talking about in the title. Now, Bakari Sagna has told us that Riccardo Calafiori is very good. I followed him a lot in Serie A this season. I've seen a lot of Bologna games, and he's one of the reasons why they were able to qualify for the Champions League. He's calm and composed on the ball. He can break lines by committing and helping the side out offensively. He's a fantastic player for Arsenal. Any club he would join, he would be a fantastic addition. That is Bakari Sagna for you. Now, here he has talked about line breaking. He can break lines by committing, and help the side up offensively. Now, this boy, 21 years of age, he's really one of the best when it comes, obviously, committing himself in the final third of the opponent. Recently, I've been really watching my TV, and they've gone ahead to be showing us highlights of teams in the Serie A, and guess who has gone ahead to feature prominently into these highlights, especially when Bologna was really attacking? Riccardo Calafiori. Even in the phase of attack, whether he really puts in a shot, deflects off the goalkeeper, and maybe Zex hits at the back of the net, all else he puts in a cross, all else he really goes past two players and puts in a pass that results into an assist, and even those line-breaking passes that he does, he can pass in between the lines, he can commit himself, he can create lots of things, and that's why this guy is really referred to as a fantastic addition to the club of Arsenal. Because if you really look at how he plays, you'll come here and you'll thank me later. He's a very good player. That's why Bakari Sagna has come out and said that he has followed him in the Serie A for the previous season, and he's the reason as to why they qualified for the Champions League. And I've always gone ahead to reiterate these words, that if you have a player like Riccardo Calafiori who can shoot from outside the 18 yards box area, he can go towards the byline and put in a cutback cross or a square, he can also invert into the left inside tunnel and obviously go in to look out for a pass for your number 9, then you're really having one of the best players in the world. And when he comes in through, I tell you, you're really gonna enjoy exactly what this boy does. I really love him, He's one of those players that Arsenal really gonna enjoy. As you see, Bakari Sagna, he has talked about his calm and composed on the ball. Now, with Arsenal being a team that builds its ball from the back, he's really gonna be one of the central points that Arsenal refer to each and every time they're building from the back. You're going to see it more oftenly when it comes to how Arsenal is really gonna be playing. And you'll see to it that he's not gonna be onto the wide left. He might be inverting into the midfield because he's very good on the ball, and when he inverts in the midfield, he turns into a midfielder. And you're going to see that the shape of Arsenal and the way they play is really gonna change. And so doing, it is really gonna create lots of problems with the opponents that Arsenal really that Ugandans are really gonna be facing into the mix. So for me, I'm 100% sure a lot is really gonna be happening on the side of Arsenal. And I tell you, you look at Riccardo Calafiori, and Arsenal is gonna be preventing close to 10 goals that they conceded last season. You get, because of Riccardo Calafiori's defensive abilities, and they're gonna be adding 10 plus goals on the goals they're gonna be scoring next season compared to those they scored last season on the addition of Riccardo Calafiori. And these are what we call complete players. He will defend very well, and he's really gonna do the overlap very well. I was watching Kosi, and there is something he said about this guy Riccardo Calafiori. He said that now, when Arsenal is gonna be playing Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur, Newcastle, you'll visibly come out and really have a player to compete with the left backs of other teams, because Zinchenko couldn't obviously beat any team or any left back of those teams. Let's start it off with Manchester United. Zinchenko couldn't come close to Luke Shaw. You all know that. Zinchenko couldn't obviously come to Nathan Ake or Jesco Vardio at Man City. Zinchenko couldn't come close to Robertson. You get? Zinchenko couldn't come close to Udogi. You understand? Then I think for Newcastle, Ban, you could go with Zinchenko, but most of the teams have been having better left backs. Even Estupian, the left back of Brighton, is really a better guy, you get, that can really do better. So this guy balances up everything very well. You'll see to it that when United is, let me see, the first big game that Arsenal is really going to play, and the first combined 11 you're really going to make this coming season, when it starts, let me see. All right, Arsenal is opening up with Wolverhampton Wanderers, right? Wolverhampton Wanderers, then Aston Villa. I think it will be early enough for us to do a combined 11 between us and Aston Villa. Then Brighton, and the first combined 11 you're gonna do is gonna be done on the 15th of September when Arsenal is gonna be playing Tottenham Hotspur, meaning that combined 11 is really gonna be having lots of things, and it will include us comparing these players, right? And in the due course of comparing those players, you will thank me later. I know that Riccardo Calafiori would have gone ahead to play against Wolves, Aston Villa, and Brighton, and even Udogi would have gone ahead to play against 2 or 3 teams. You get? And now, after playing against those teams, you understand, we'll be in a perfect position to really come in the combined 11 and put up Udogi versus Calafiori. And after playing Tottenham Hotspur, they will be hosted by Man City next, and then will be versing Riccardo Calafiori versus either Jesco Vardy or Nathan Ake. You get? So you now have a possible candidate who matches exactly the players that you are competing with, because Arsenal, to reach the level of Man City, they need to be having players that can compete or outcompete with the players of Man City that they have in their squad. Like you saw the goalkeeper coming in through Raya, ball-playing goalkeeper. Right back Benjamin White can obviously compete with the man known as Kyle Walker. Left back, if you get in Calafiori, he can easily compete with Nathan Ake or Jesco Vardy. In the central defense, Arsenal is okay. Saliba, for me, is the best right-sided centre-back in the world. I know that. Hope you really agree with me onto that. You get? When we go to the midfield, Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, Odegaard, it can easily match and outcompete the midfield of City. When you look at the right forward, Arsenal can really compete with the City. Left forward they can, centre forward they can. And now, the only position that Arsenal was not really having that could match the levels of Man City has only been the side of a left back, and this is the Calafiori guy that is being brought into the side of Arsenal, and a lot is really gonna be going the Arsenal way. So he has talked about a lot, and he's gonna say, and he said that Calafiori is a fantastic addition to the side of Arsenal, and that is it. The guy is that good. I've gonna hate to watch him. You know, in the recent days, I've been watching him hugely, and he has gonna hate to leave a mark everywhere he has gonna hate obviously play. Now, this is an Italian known as Leonardo Bonucci. If you've seen them defend with Cherini Giorgio, you'll agree with me that they formed one of the best central defense partnership in history. And it was the reason as to why they went ahead to win the Euros of 2021 because of this combination. Now, this guy has come out and said, sorrowfully, that Calafiori, I'm sorry about his transfer. I would have liked to see him at Juventus. He's a defender who is a little different from what we are used to seeing. He plays, he has personality, and he fits in. We're exporting a great player who will be a point of reference for the national team for the next 15 years. Now, have you heard what the one who's about him? And it was Di Marzio that reported this, meaning that Di Marzio asked about Riccardo Calafiori, and he felt agitated and was like, why are we losing out on such a player? You know, why are we losing out on such a player, and why are we letting him go? You get? Why are we letting Riccardo Calafiori go? You get? Why are we really letting a player like Riccardo Calafiori go? That shows you his quality, that he's a different kind of player. He has this style of Italian defenders that are really good defenders, but he has this other technical aspect of his game. He's a very good player who really defends very well and puts in a shift. So you see an Italian legend, you know, crying not to lose this player. It really shows you how good the player is and how he's really gonna really tick all the boxes for the club of Arsenal. And he said he would have gonna hate to be at Juventus because Italy wants to keep their best players at home, and this one is an extraordinary player. You know, you are gonna see him play for Arsenal. I know that by the end of this week, everything is gonna be done and dusted. You fly to the US, and he might not be able to play in the game that Arsenal is really going to be playing against Manchester United, but he might find himself playing in the next game that Arsenal is going to be playing into the US, and that game is really going to be against Liverpool. That is on the 1st of August, because Sunday might come so early for him, but he might really play there on Thursday. You understand? So that is the man known as Riccardo Calafiori, and he will play against us. He will play against Leverkusen, and I know he'll play against Lyon, you know, those friendlies. And all those games that he'll play will put him in a proper position to come in through and really compete for the side of Arsenal in the starting 11. So if a legend cries that the player wouldn't have gone ahead to be leaving the club, the Italian Serie A, that means the guy is really good, and he has gone ahead to mention that he's a little bit different. And I tell you, he is. He's a more different player from these other players that you've gone ahead to see. Now, if you enjoy Lisandro Martinez and you've been watching Manchester United, this is the guy. This is the guy. He's coming in through, and you're going to enjoy his aspects. That is Riccardo Calafiori for you. And he says he's a point of reference for the national team for the next 15 years. Do you know why a player is called a point of reference in the game? Meaning that the point of reference is that player who is really the most technical player and most press resistant, that even when he's really swamped in legs of like 5 players, he won't lose the ball. And those players at Arsenal, you have the following. There is Zinchenko, there is Julian Timber, Saliba, Odegaard. You can talk about Jorginho. Such kind of players that even when you get him the ball when he's swamped up, he can really recover it very well, protect it, and really keep it. Meaning that when Arsenal are really going to be building from the back, they're going to be using Riccardo Calafiori a lot. I've going to hate to see this very well at Manchester United, especially when Lisandro Martinez is into the game. Now, when United is starting the ball, it's Lisandro Martinez who starts it and gives it Andre Onana. Andre Onana spreads it to the player on the wide right. Then they play it back to find Andre Onana. And as that ball is being played back, what Lisandro Martinez does, he inverts into the midfield, in the middle of the park. You get? And then this guy known as, when Lisandro Martinez comes in through to play as a midfielder, that means the Casemiros will obviously go forward, And because this player is really a point of reference, he won't lose that ball, and you'll find out a line-breaking pass. And you're going to see to it that most of the attacks of Arsenal are really going to be initiated by Riccardo Calafiori. You are going to see this because I know what a point of reference means. And let me now paint it in a very better picture for the club of Arsenal. Now, one, if the backline has Riccardo Calafiori, Saliba, Magalhaes, and Benjamin White, in the midfield when Arsenal is really having, Thomas Partey and Declan Rice plus Odegaard, this is how the pattern will be. You get? Riccardo Calafiori will stand on the ball, play it, or knock it, or kick it to David Raya. David Raya will kick it to Saliba, and Saliba will find maybe a Gabriel Magalhaes. Now, as they find a Gabriel Magalhaes, Calafiori will move from the box, from the 6 yards box area where he really started the ball from, and he will make that central axis run, just a little bit past the D. The D is that arc, that D is that arc on the 18 yards box area. Then he'll make himself available to get that ball because the team would have gone to come in through to press them, and then they'll all, by all means, they'll be looking for Calafiori. And as they pass into Calafiori will really hold that ball and really find out a central axis breaking pass to Martin Odegaard or Declan Rice or Partey, and Partey will spread that ball to either Saka or Martinelli. You get? Depending on who will be playing into that left or right attacking side of the midfield, depending on who will be there. And you'll see how the play is really going to be broken because these players will come and really try to cocoon around this guy Calafiori, and because of his technical abilities and being press resistant, he'll find ways of really putting out a line breaking pass. You'll thank me later. We'll be here discussing on how Arsenal is really going to be playing next season, and you'll tell me how useful this guy is really going to be. That Zinchenko-like kind of role that was playing in at Arsenal, I believe, is the role that is really going to be played in here at the side of at the side of Arsenal. It's the role that I believe is really going to be played. Smash the like button close to 300 times. We are having 120 people watching in through, and only 31 have gone to smash the like button. We are giving you content, and you guys are not really smashing the like button. Smash it like no other. Before we go to Federico Chiesa, allow me have something to say to you guys. Michael Francis, Mr. Rokani, thanks for giving us good news. This is Michael Francis, but when did Calafiori do the medical? And Arsenal's 1v1 is much better than those left backs of the top. He hasn't gone ahead to do his medical. They are lying. Those are liars. Those are liars. Everyone who is telling you that Calafiori has gone ahead to do his medical, he's lying. Calafiori hasn't gone ahead to do his medical. Calafiori, the deal is still waiting for Basel and Bologna to agree on how Bologna is really going to be cashing out the 50% of the amount of money that they agreed with Arsenal. That is 45 million euros plus 5 million euros of add-ons, and then later they will also be doing the following. And what following are they going to be doing? They are going to be putting themselves into a proposition to see to it that all goes their way. You get? And there is also something else that on the sell-on clause that was included into the contract, meaning that Bologna has to tell Basel that is it also okay for you to get 50% of the sell-on clause, the future sell-on clause, or this contract ends only, or this 50% ends only on this deal, you know, of him being sold to Arsenal. Even the future, do they even have a percentage that they're really going to be giving this side? That is really very important, and that's what you're really waiting in for. Then 1v1s, he's really deadly. He's really deadly, and he can really defend very well. Chebet Michael Rokani, we are always here waiting and following. My brother also talk about Gyökeres. I think I'm going to be bringing you a very huge update on Gyökeres later today. Zuma Richard, already thanks for the update. Thank you. Then Turia Jua Frank, I'm available, Mr. Rokani. Always appreciate for your work you are doing. Thank you. Motebi, good morning. Good evening, Rokani. Thanks for the updates. All right. Then Tony Badambia says nice. Then Kaiwa Ian, please Rokani, on Saliba and Ruben Diaz, who is the best centre back? William Saliba. Saliba is the best. You people, even in the world, the world hasn't gone ahead to produce a right-sided centre back like William Saliba. Even if you tell me that Virgil van Dijk versus William Saliba right now, Saliba is better than every right-sided centre back in the world. The only right-sided centre-back I've gone ahead to see come through, I think they are like 3 or 4. They are coming in from France. There is a player called Jean-Claude Todibo, who is going to be playing for Juventus next season. I think he will obviously do a lot of things. You know, he will really come out and really become one of the best right-sided centre-backs. But doesn't mean that he's really going to overtake the man called William Saliba. You know, the other one is Lenny Yoro, who came in throughout Manchester United. If I was going to hate to be following him at Lille, he's really good, but he's really young. You get? So, no one is better than William Saliba in the world. Saliba is the best right-sided centre-back. To show you that he's really very good, even Bernardo Silva, when asked on which players he believes can play at Man City and play in his team, he talked about William Saliba and Martin Odegaard. You get? Arsenal has some good special players that are the best. Odegaard, I think the person that comes next to him in the world right now is Jamal Musiala into that central attacking midfield position. You know, he's the best number 10 in the world, I tell you. He's the best. People talk about Kevin De Bruyne, but Kevin De Bruyne is on his decline. He's declining, you get? But Martin Odegaard is on the rise. So, I tell you, Arsenal has those players, you know? Players like, which other player? Thomas Partey. The other problem is Thomas Partey is an injury-prone player. But if at all Thomas Partey could keep himself onto the ball, I tell you, he's really going to be, if at all he kept himself available, he's really going to be a dangerous and deadly player. Then we are having Ochira Thomas. Thanks for your work. Then Omar, I've been waiting for this deal to get done. I don't know why Arsenal are delaying. Arsenal is not delaying. Now, that delay is in between Bologna and Basel to agree on to the 50% and how Bologna is really going to pay that 50%. Then Bijira Prita, already. Some comparison between Calafiori and Lisandro Martinez. Yeah, I'm really going to make that. Did I note it down? Calafiori and Lisandro Martinez. You had called for Calafiori and Lenny Yoro. Now, Calafiori and Martinez. Right? We'll work on that. I'll work on that. Then will Arsenal defense match? Yeah. With that opening closed of Zinchenko, with Riccardo Calafiori coming in through, I believe that Arsenal is really going to be having a better defense than that of Man City, I tell you. And I tell you, they are really going to reduce the number of goals they conceded last season. This season, they're going to concede more few goals because we know how many goals really went ahead, obviously, gate out of the left side of the pitch. Then, already, Kaiwa Ian will Arsenal's defense. And some people started comparing Lenny Yoro to the Minister of Defense. That is, those are really, you know, some people are really young in the game of football. There is no way you can really compare a proven player who is world class now, William Saliba, to Lenny Yoro, who is a potential. He's a player with huge potential, but we never know what's going to happen on his game. You know, he's 18. You know, he has going to hit to come through in the league. Just let Leny Yoro give us 2 seasons. You know, let us see how Leny Yoro will appear in Man United in the next 2 seasons, 2024-2025 and 2025-2026. If Leny Yoro puts in performances that are really good, then we'll try to obviously start comparing him to Saliba. But Saliba is in his own world. You know, Saliba is on his island, and there is a very huge gulf in class between Saliba and Leny Yoro. You get? Saliba is good, you guys. What are you talking about? You know, every person who is comparing Leny Yoro to Saliba is committing what we call a police case. You know, that is a police case. You know, it's illegal to do that. You cannot really do that. You know, it's like you want to commit suicide to this boy. Let Leny Yoro develop and let his football speak for himself, like William Saliba. When Saliba came in throughout us at the age of 21, we never needed to compare him to anyone else, but he first showcased what he can do for Arsenal in the preseason. Or you're like, oh, Saliba is Salibering. You get? So why compare him? Why compare him? Don't do that. Don't do that. Let Leny Yoro play his role. You know, let him play his role. Now I'm having Mukwana Richard. Thanks, my bro Aradi. Basing on few games he played in Euro, Calafiori will be an exceptional player for Arsenal, and he will help Arsenal so different. He'll make Arsenal look so different next season. I tell you, he's really going to be doing the needful. I'm waiting for Merino. All right, let's wait and see. Bonya Wilson, good evening, Rokani. Can you compare me, Calafiori, Zinchenko, and Luke Shaw in terms of technical abilities? All right, I'll try because technical abilities are all about the pressures, the passes completed, because we are going to be doing the passes, you know, like the passes. We're not going to be doing the duels. You're going to be doing the passes, you know, the forward passes, back passes, you know, take-ons, how many shots at goal, you get? Those are the technical abilities, you get? Kalema Robert, all right. Sunday, Okpola, good afternoon, sir. Amos, Nyakahuma, Rokani, where will Timber play? For Timber, it's really very tricky. And I told you that in these games you're going to see Arsenal play without William Saliba. We are going to really see where this guy is going to be played by Mikel Arteta. If Arteta plays him as a center forward, if Arteta plays him as a center back, then we'll be knowing that he's going to be competing with Saliba. If Arteta pulls Ben White into the central defense and plays Timber as a right back, then we will be knowing that Arteta is planning to play this guy as a right back. You get? So I'm waiting for the game that Arsenal is going to be playing on the 25th, and then we'll be knowing exactly what Arsenal is really going to be planning for this guy. But we all know that he can play on that entire back line. That is it. Kwewunga Roni, I'm waiting for Jokares, all right. But Rokani, I'm hearing some rumors of Gio from place to Arsenal in swap deal with Nketiah. Who is Gio? Who is Gio? Complete the name. Tibaijuka Robert, hey, our man Aradi, for sure. I like your commentary. That's the reality. Some people are young in sports. Yeah, you cannot compare Leny Yoro with William Saliba. No way. No way. Bright Emmanuel, can the deal of Calafiori be hijacked now? No, it cannot. It cannot. It cannot. You know, the only way a deal can be hijacked, it's when you agree personal terms with the player and you haven't gone ahead to come to a final agreement with the team on the amount of money. But right now, Arsenal is waiting for Basel. But Arsenal and Bologna, deal is done. But to really get a here we go, the final touches need to come in through from Bologna and Basel. That is it. But it can no longer be hijacked. Everything is going to have to be agreed. It's done and dusted. No one is going to come in through hijack the deal. Everything is done and dusted. But here we go to happen. Basel has to first settle their stuff with Bologna. Good evening, my brother. I'm waiting Jokaris deal. All right. Thank you, Ronnie, for watching in through. Now, let's obviously jump a little bit to a player that is linked to Arsenal, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea, Liverpool, and very many more. He's known as Federico Chiesa. Now, Federico Chiesa, Nicolo Sichira has told us that as of today, there is no concrete offers for Federico Chiesa, nor from Milan, who would prefer to sign him on a free transfer. For Roma, he's on standby as they are reconcentrating on Seoul. Napoli could evaluate the situation by thinking of an exchange and nothing from other clubs abroad. So it is confirmed that maybe these other staffs linking Federico Chiesa to other teams, it might be an agent-driven agenda to obviously create concern that there is a player known as Riccardo, known as Federico Chiesa on the market. But if you've been following up stories, Federico Chiesa has been linked to everyone. At Manchester United, we all know to it that he was linked to very many other people at Manchester United. And the story was like, United are really willing to see to it that everything really goes on to pass, to see to it that Federico Chiesa comes in through, and the man called, what was his name? And the man called, what was his name? And the man called Sancho was going to Juventus. Federico Chiesa was crossing to come to the side of Manchester United. Even Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously find themselves being linked to Federico Chiesa. But it has been confirmed from the side of Italy that it's not the case. Federico Chiesa is not needed. That's what we got in that side. So then let's leave Federico Chiesa in there for you. I told you you're gonna be here for just 30 minutes. Then we are having a story. Tommy Setford, who signed for Arsenal yesterday, went to his Instagram and said the following: "I'm very proud to announce my transfer to Arsenal, and even prouder that I can now officially call myself a Gooner. I look forward to developing further at this amazing club. First up is our pre-season tour to America. Can't wait to get started." He's one of those players that made it to what we call the Arsenal squad to go to the America. As I predicted that, he might be an outstanding player that the world is really looking at to see to it that all really goes on their way. And I tell you, nothing's really going to stop these people from obviously doing the needful and really calling the best of the best. So as it stands, this guy, Tommy Setford, is one of those that you have to look at and really understand that he's really in the right hands at the club of Arsenal, and all is going to be happening. He's with the squad of Arsenal in America as they are going to really play their first game. And don't be shocked when this guy comes in to overtake some of the goalkeepers of Arsenal that you believe are really top and world class. Now, let's go to Man City. Looks like they're going to be losing their goalkeeper known as Ederson, and the story reads from Fabrizio Romano: Al Ittihad have approached Ederson and he remains keen on move to Saudi Pro League, as he has also agreed on terms with Al Nassr but did collapse. Talks to follow between clubs, with Man City to insist on 50/60 million euro evaluation. Not easy one, but Al Ittihad are really trying. So for Man City, they are calling in for 50 million euros and 10 million euros of add-ons. You get? And for them, they will be like, we are willing to let Ederson go because he has come out and shown us that he wants to go ahead and really play that side and really make some huge amount of money in there. Now, if that's the case, Man City won't stand in the way of this guy. And this is what I love about Man City, right? They won't stand in the way of a player who wants to leave, provided a suitable bidder comes in through and puts in the money. You understand? You get? So that is exactly what happens. So that is the guy known as Ederson, and he's gonna be really making his move to the side of Arsenal, so to the side of Saudi Arabia, and we are waiting to see how things really pan out. But everything looks good and okay. So as it stands, he's really doing the best of the best as a player, and I tell you, he's pushing to leave Man City. It's time to make money, by the way, because I think he's in his early 30s and he believes that it's time for him to make money in the go. And lastly, let's obviously have something concerning Raphael Varane. It's a here we go to Como. Como is the team that is managed by the former captain of Arsenal, known as Fabregas. And we've been told by Fabrizio Romano that Raphael Varane to Como, here we go. Documents ready and set to be signed. Former Real Madrid and Man United centre-back will play in Serie A under Cesc Fabregas as manager, right? Understand Varane will sign a 2-year deal until 2026, plus option until 2027. Exclusive story confirmed. So, Varane is one of those players that I've got here to complain about the playing time, and I believe like he's really not willing to commit to teams that play in the Champions League, like playing 4 tournaments a season, and he's really willing to play for the side known as Como, and he believes that he's really going to do the needful. But I'm really having something hidden about this deal. Raphael Varane might have gone ahead to be given shares in this Como deal. I tell you, he might have gone ahead to be given shares. I tell you. So let's wait and see how that really pans out. But I'm really having Ronnie says, I mean Mark Gehi from Crystal Palace. All right. The moment you see that Arsenal is going to close in a deal for Riccardo Calafiori, forget about Gehi. They're not going to get in Gehi because he's a £60 million player. And now they're really having very many defenders at the club of Arsenal. You understand? Ronnie, then Bernard Wadribo. Hello, Aradi. To me, Timber, Calafiori, Ben White are the main players going to compete among themselves. Otherwise, the rest should be benched. I tell you, there is no way they're going to bench Gabriel Magalhaes. I tell you, Gabriel Magalhaes is really going to be there. Robert says, Mr. Aradi, sorry to ask you this question. Why is it that Man U, they just overpay anyhow in terms of buying players, because Lenny Yoro was not worth that amount? Guys, Lenny Yoro was bought for 62 million euros. That is 52 million pounds. You get? And let me ask you, you remember when Arsenal went in for Makalo Modric? They are willing to pay 86 million pounds. You get? It's the team that knows the player they want. And I tell you, United is not going to overpay for a player who is really not worth that amount of money. And I tell you, Lenny Yoro is going to prove everyone wrong. He's going to come in through and play his ball very well. And 52 million pounds for me, it's the normal price for any player. Real Madrid was paying 25 because the player was left with just 1 year in his contract. And they just wanted to obviously see to it that they do what we call an absolute steal. But for me, and what I think, Lenny Yoro is worth 52 million pounds. You get? Because United paid 62 million euros. And let me tell you this, 12 of those are really add-ons, meaning that 50 is the guaranteed fees and 12 of those are really add-ons. So for that deal to accumulate to 62 million euros, all 52 million pounds, Lenny Yoro has to do certain things to really put it that level. You understand? So for me, it's okay. That is not a lot of money. How do you tell me that? Now, what's the difference between Lenny Yoro and Riccardo Calafiori? You get? Calafiori is up for 50 million euros, you know, and I think Arsenal is spending like 43, is going to spend like 43 million pounds on that deal, and Lenny Yoro has been spent on that amount of money. That is really 52. So it's not bad business. For anyone who thinks that 50 million pounds is really huge for a player, then that is the basic fee for a very good player. You wait and see him. In the games you're going to be Arsenal, Manchester United is going to be playing Arsenal on Sunday this week. You'll come here and tell me how Lenny Yoro looked into that game. You know? He's good. And I've told you that. For me, I see two defenders that are really going to come and start to fit into that ilk in the next 2 seasons. If at all they will perform very well. Todibo and Lenny Yoro. Very good defenders. Kwame Obagoye. At long last, we have signed Calafiori. Right. Then Adetonia. Good evening, my brother. Sorry, why is it that agreement between Basel and Bologna affecting Arsenal deal? Yeah, because Basel has to take 50% of the amount of money that comes from the deal of Riccardo Calafiori. That is it. There is a 50% sell-on clause that was really included in his contract, and that's why it is like that. Kwame Abogai, Rokani. Do you think Arsenal will be signing both Williams and Gyökeres? Williams is so close to joining Arsenal. Williams is so close to joining Barcelona, and Barcelona have gone ahead to make him their priority signing. So I don't see anywhere Nico Williams comes to Arsenal. I don't see Arsenal hijacking that deal because Barcelona have gone ahead to put their entire life in signing Gyökeres. In signing Nico Williams, and I don't see him coming to Arsenal. Kaiwa Ian, some fans are telling us that Ethan Nwaneri is the next Phil Foden. Yeah, he's really good. He's really good. And Nwaneri is good. And all what Arteta has to do is to start giving this guy chances in the team. You know, like when the game is like 3-0 for Arsenal, get in Nwaneri to play like 10, 15 minutes. You understand? Then Luke Abwao, watching from Kisumu, Kenya. Thank you people in Kenya watching through. Then Nyakundi, fantastic news, watching from Kisumu, Kenya. Oh, Kenya is really here a lot. Then Namuguzi Kasaga. All right, thank you for watching through. Kaiwa Ian, Arsenal need someone to compete with Thomas Partey because Jorginho is slow. Thomas Partey is leaving. If Thomas Partey doesn't leave this summer, he's going to be leaving. Thomas Partey is in the past of Arsenal. And I'm going to be very agitated if I told Arsenal don't move on Thomas Partey, because he's going to be injured again. And people are going to come in and really cry that we wish would have gone ahead to obviously sell him, you know, and get another midfielder. Arsenal should get in either Merino, they should get in Zubimendi, or Yao Neves, or a player called Bruno Guimaraes. Let Thomas Partey chapter end now. It should end now. Thomas Partey should leave the club of Arsenal, and he has to prove me wrong to keep fit for me to really keep him at Arsenal. You get? And I tell you, he is a very good midfielder if he keeps himself fit. But if you earn £200,000 a week and you are not readily available, then football is not meant for you. That is it. It's not really meant for you. Then Muzora Eli, hey Aradi, good news, all right. Namuguzi says, hey Mr. Aradi, is it true we have signed him all yet? Everything is done, but the problem that is left is simple. You know, what is left is simple. It's all about Arsenal agreeing a deal. Sorry, Basel and Bologna are really trying to really have a debate onto how they are going to really get those payments in from the club of Arsenal. And remember, Arsenal are going to obviously submit what we call even Fabrizio Romano is saying Here We Go is coming soon. So Calafiori Here We Go is coming soon, guys. They are preparing documents and everything is really going to be happening into the mix. Riccardo Calafiori on the side of Bologna on the side of Basel. So it's really close. It's really close. I might be even on this live and everything is really everything will be pronounced as a Here We Go. So Robert, update me about Gyökeres. Obviously Gyökeres is still at Sporting Lisbon. He's training very well, and Arsenal trying to first get the deal of Calafiori done. When it's done and dusted, the rest will be history, right? Then Rokani, any information about Patino? Patino looks like Arsenal want to move him on a permanent. That is it. Bonya Wilson, hey Rokani, who are top 5 right wingers in the world? The top 5 right wingers in the world? In no particular order. I'll talk about Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka. You'll talk about Yamal. Which other player? Which other player is really good? Mohamed Salah. And Carl Palmer. For me, those are the 5. Those are the 5. You get Saka, Carl Palmer, Mohamed Salah, Lamine Yamal, and who have I talked about else? Carl Palmer, Saka, Mohamed Salah, Lamine Yamal. Who is the 5th I'm going to talk about? There is someone else his name was going to skip off my brain. I've forgotten the name. But I tell you, that guy is really good. So, Arteta will let all our youngsters academy to leave because of Arteta not giving them at least 5-10 minutes on the pitch. Yeah, that is really good because there is no deliberate effort to obviously get them on the field of play. You're right. Aboki Kato Nyasio, where will Timber play? Timber can play as a right back or a right-sided centre back, I think. On the left back, I don't think he'll play there maybe, but Calafiori is really going to dominate the left back side of Arsenal. And Kwame says Calafiori will be challenging both Timber and Tomiyasu. You're right. Then Kaiwa Ian, if Arsenal get in Pedro Neto fully fit, is better than Nico Williams. Yeah, by the way, Neto is really a very deadly player and is a Premier League proven player. That's why I believe that Arsenal should really concentrate so much on bringing Pedro Neto than Nico Williams, because Nico Williams is going to Barcelona. He has not going to show any interest in Arsenal. Pedro Neto has all years been waiting for Arsenal to come in through and do the needful. All right. Then Ivan says Nico Williams updates. Obviously, Nico Williams is going to Barcelona. That is it. I'm gonna be recording that story, right? I'm gonna put it up there and really get to show you how even Fabrizio Romano said today that Barcelona is working on the deal of Nico Williams like no other. You get? So Fabrizio Romano has gone to put in a very huge update. Oh, Foden, Saka, Carl Palmer, Lamine Yamal, and Mohamed Salah. For me, those are the best 5 that I've gonna hit to see. So guys, but between White and Timber, who do you start? I start Timber because I know he is a defensive he's a defensive beast, and going forward he offers more than Benjamin White. Bright Emmanuel, which Arsenal Academy player wants to join United? Chido or B Martin? That is it. He's good. He's the best in the under-18s team of Arsenal, and I really witnessed him last season when Man United was playing against Arsenal. He scored a hat-trick against Manchester United. Ucheka the Great, Calafiori, here we go. Let me check. No, here we go yet. He has said, here we go, coming soon, you know. But he has told us that the deal is getting done this week. 4 more steps in order to close the deal in the next hour. So the deal is going to be closed today. Next hour. So the here we go is going to be gotten today, right? It's not yet out, but it's really close. It's like 99.9%, and it's a 0.1% that is really holding that here we go. But it's really going to be dropping soon. So it's going to be dropped. That is it. Daniel Shelf, thank you, brother, watching you from the US. All right. And Kwame, Dan Shelf from the US. Why buy me a super chat? Buy me a super chat. Kick that dollar sign and buy me a super chat. You know, buy me a super chat. Then Kwame says, as well as if we don't sign Gyökeres, who should we sign in Rokani? The replacements are really huge. There is a Turkish player that Arsenal is being linked to. You understand? So guys, I sign out for now. See you later. But remember, we are powered by Mono Gadgets. Who are Mono Gadgets? Mono Gadgets are your #1 dealers in new phones from UK and laptops. You get? They also have used phones from UK and laptops that are really used. So call them on +256 70 99 88 665, and the rest is really gonna be history. You'll thank me later onto the mix. So I sign out. See you later. WhatsApp them or call them on that number, and they'll really give you the best of service that you ever want. Mono Gadgets 256, and your reactions to Riccardo Calafiori, you know, tip to be Arsenal's fantastic signing, are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Chiesa? We talked about Tommy Setford. We talked about Raphael Varane and very many more other people into the mix. Hope you guys are really okay, and allow me call it the end of this video for now. I have some people really trying to obviously do the needful, and I'm having Kwame, as well as if we don't sign Gyökeres. Okay, Ian says, can Calafiori play center left and midfield? No, he plays as a left back and a left-sided center back. I'm driving now. All right, thank you. When I get home, all right, maybe the next video, because you're gonna be streaming live. The here we go of this guy is dropping tonight. It's dropping today, as Fabrizio Romano is going to confirm to us that in the next hours they are working to get the deal done and dusted. So guys, my brother said prefers Calafiori. Yeah, Calafiori is really great. You have your brother called Osemeke. Calafiori is really great, and he's a very good player. A new breed of talent. He's a technically gifted player, a modern left back and left-sided center back that Arsenal have gonna hit to get him through. So that is it, my mates. That is it, my mates. Let's obviously call it quits for now, and continue to subscribe, because we want to hit 23,000 subscribers. Do the needful, subscribe to this channel, and more content is really gonna be dropping. I think I'm not gonna hit to forsake you. I'm giving you the best of content that you guys deserve, and you've not gonna hit obviously forsake me also by really representing onto my lives. I just can't wait to see how many of you are really gonna be onto this channel when here we go of this guy is really sounded loud and clear in here onto the Rokani Media Football. So I'm gonna be recording something up in here, and in the due course of recording, you guys will come up and really tell me exactly what your thoughts are about the business that is being done in here for you. So people, let's see this come to an end, right? And I hope you're gonna hit to enjoy me, not so, but endeavor to obviously support Mono Gadgets, right? Even if you're abroad and you really want to buy a phone, Mono Gadgets is the way to go. You can buy a phone for a person in Uganda through Mono Gadgets, and the rest will be history. You understand? So, guys, let me sign out because we can